I know you too, Teddy.
It's fine, it's cool.
What is up, chocolatiers? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Bugonia, Yorgos Lanthimos' latest film starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Aidan Delbus. Now, you already know that Yorgos is one of those directors where you either love what he's doing or you're just kind of sitting there like, what I just watch. And for me, he's always been very hit or miss like that. I really loved Poor Things. I didn't really vibe with his last movie. I can't even think of what it was called. I think it came out last year. But with this premise, this cast, when this got announced, I was definitely curious. And after seeing it, I've got to say that I actually did really like this one. So, the story of Bugonia follows two conspiracy-obsessed men, more so one than the other. You have Teddy and Don, played by Jesse Plemons and Aidan Delbus. Teddy is deep into the world of online conspiracies, like aliens run the government, type stuff. And Don is kind of just there more along for the ride. He's his cousin. And he's definitely more just kind of there as far as like, hey, I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm with you, dude. And then you got Michelle Fuller, played by Emma Stone, who's this big-time CEO of a medical tech company. And Teddy becomes convinced that she's not human, that she actually is an alien sent to destroy Earth. And so what do these guys do? Naturally, they kidnap her. That's what you do. And what unfolds from there is basically kind of like a Stephen King's Misery if it was filtered through Yorgos Lanthimos' brain. It's claustrophobic, bizarre, and funny in all the wrong ways and places. And I feel like after leaving the theater, you're kind of guessing, or while you're there at the theater, you're kind of guessing, is Teddy completely insane, or maybe is he right? And I feel like what surprised me most is how normal this movie feels compared to his other films. It's definitely weird, especially the third act, but it's not like off the rails, it's not like, what am I watching? It's not really super quirky. It's people that are paranoid, and you've got a gray line between delusion and belief. And I feel like the first hour doesn't really feel like a Yorgos movie at all. There aren't these exaggerated performances or absurdist moments like, the Lobster or The Favorite. Instead, this feels slower, quieter, more psychological. But when it does lean into the weirdness, especially the last 30 minutes, I feel like it really does go for it. And I'd say, like I said, if it's like Misery and Take Shelter had a baby, I feel like that's how this movie is. And it's going to make you question some things. So I do want to talk about performances because that is what fully carries this movie for me. Because Bugonia absolutely shines in this department. Emma Stone is once again incredible. At this point, I feel like she and Yorgos are basically like the new Scorsese and DiCaprio. Every time they link up, something interesting happens. Whether or not you don't like the film or not, she gives a wonderful performance. But the real MVP here is Jesse Plemons. He gives one of the best performances, I feel like, of his career. He's able to walk this fine line between a genius and madness, because that's why I said, like, you're kind of questioning, is he right or wrong? Because he genuinely believes that he's saving the planet and doing what he's doing, but maybe he completely lost his mind. And the entire movie really hangs on if you believe him, or at least believe his performance. And I feel like, for most of this film, he does what he's supposed to be doing, right? And then you have Aidan Delbus, who I want to touch on. He plays Don, who barely speaks for most of the movie, but he still really leaves an impression. He's kind of like this conscience of the duo. You can see regret in certain things they're doing, and he'll shout, certain lines, certain things that's going on, and I really, really loved his performance. There's also a cop up in there played by Stavros. I can't think of his last name. He's actually really good at this movie, so I feel like supporting cast is doing what they're doing in this film. And I feel like a lot of Yorgos' work, Bugonia is very layered with themes of control, faith, and delusion, and it plays with the idea of truth and how much of what we believe is real versus what we want to be real. For example, like Michelle Fuller is a supposed alien in this, is very much a symbolism of power and distrust in the way people project evil onto corporations or authority figures. Meanwhile, Teddy represents the modern conspiracy theorist who's desperate to feel special after going to, he has actually a segment where he talks about how he's went far right, far left, and pretty much any spectrum you can, and he's just kind of fit himself here. And there's a really interesting tension between the paranoia and purpose, because Teddy's madness really gives him meaning, and by the end, when everything goes down during this lunar eclipse, because that's what you're leading up to, it's a really good ending, and I really think that once you leave the theater, you're going to be questioning kind of what you just saw, but in a good way, I feel like. Overall, I feel like I left Bugonia pleasantly surprised. It is weird, but not too weird, to the point where, like, it's in its own way. It's funny, but it's pretty dark in an uncomfortable way, and I feel like it's serious when it needs to be, and most importantly, it's carried by these fantastic performances. I think that some people might find it too slow, or maybe wish that it went crazier, but I feel like for me, the restraint is what made it work. It feels like Yorgos is kind of growing as a filmmaker and experimenting with a more human kind of insanity rather than just absurdism for the sake of it, like his last film I still can't think of the name of. But with that, I'm giving this movie an 8 out of 10. I feel like it's smart, it's tense, it's got a little bit of what if he's right, paranoia that sticks with you after the credits roll. Definitely worth seeing, I feel like, especially if you're a fan of character-driven psychological thrillers with a touch of cosmic weirdness. But yeah, that is just my take. Chocolatiers, what did you guys think of Bugonia if you saw it? And yeah, with that, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. I have a new series starting today, if we can film that. And yeah, hopefully you guys check that out. We'll be covering all the Predator films leading up to Badlands this week. And so yeah, with that, as always, drop a like if you enjoyed the review and subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
In a statewide manhunt, I'm a high-profile female corporate executive.